What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Riot Gaming Weekly News Roundup, where we talk about whatever made the most noise last week in the gaming industry. My name is Alex, and in this week's news we will talk about why Microsoft joined Epic in their court fight against Apple, recap the opening night of Gamescom 2020, and talk about the new Ubisoft Mug. So starting up with Microsoft joining forces with Epic. This week, in an article written by The Guardian, we read about the next development in the lawsuit case between Epic Games and Apple. As a short recap, Epic Games sneakily introduced their own direct payment method into the mobile version of Fortnite, thus avoiding the 30% cut they are obligated to pay to the owner of the App Store, Apple. Of course, Apple responded harshly by removing Fortnite from the App Store and threatening Epic Games with prohibiting further development of the Unreal Engine for iOS by the end of August. In retaliation, Epic Games instantly filed a huge lawsuit against Apple's monopoly. The situation is very strange indeed, since Epic Games could not have expected any other response to their actions, and yet they still did it. Which leads me to believe that they were prepared for the fight from the very beginning. This week, though, a new challenger approaching. Microsoft filed a legal brief in support of Epic Games' side of the argument in court. Microsoft's argument is that the Unreal Engine is an important piece of technology for many developers, including some of their own, and Apple's actions may hurt many people. Which is indeed a very valid argument that I would support. Even though, as was said in Apple's statement, this emergency is entirely of Epic's own making, and they could have filed this case without first violating the App Store policy that is already in place and was most probably agreed upon when Fortnite was originally uploaded to the App Store. Next up, let's talk about Gamescom 2020 Opening Night Live. This year's Gamescom had begun last week, and the opening night was a great condensed video game presentation with an abundance of important new information on games we wanted to hear more about. So here are the main highlights of the event. The presentation started with the complete version of the cutscene we saw in the teaser for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. In addition, the developers told everyone that this time the players will be able to create their own character for the campaign, and that there will be several endings depending on the choices the players will make. One of the new announcements that were made during the show is Unknown 9 Awakening. This is a next-gen narrative action-adventure game about a young woman from India named Haruna. She has supernatural abilities, one of which is the ability to foresee her own death and get the chance to avoid it. In other exciting info drops was a segment of the presentation where the team from BioWare talked about their ambition for the next Dragon Age game. It is still pretty early in development, so all we saw were concept art, a couple of locations rendered in-engine, and some test dummies running animations in-engine. But seeing as the last couple projects were quite big failures for the studio, it is extremely important for the team to make this next game as impressive and as they used to do their projects and gain everybody's trust again. I personally hold my fingers and wish luck to this great studio. I want BioWare back in the game. Then we saw a new trailer and a release date for the next expansion for the World of Warcraft, titled Shadowlands. In it, the players will travel to the afterlife of the Warcraft universe and will engage with the various covenants that sort the dead based on how they lived their mortal lives. It will be coming on the 27th of October. We have also seen trailers for two new upcoming strategy games in the Warhammer universe, Age of Sigmar Stormground and Necromunda Underhive Wars. Finally, the developers of Little Nightmare 2 have broken silence since last year's Gamescom and showed a new gameplay trailer. EA also announced a new Star Wars-themed expansion for Sims 4, and Fall Guys showed the next medieval-themed season for the game with new costumes and stages. Finishing up the presentation were Insomniac Games, with the uncut version of the gameplay demo for Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. in which they elaborated more on how the PlayStation 5 allows them to create games almost entirely with no loading screens, and how the new controller simulates the differences between the various weapons in the player's arsenal. Now let's wrap up this week with a funny piece of news about the Ubisoft Mug. So, Ubisoft China and a Chinese clothing brand called Shipedia, I hope I pronounced it correctly, in a recent collaboration had created a line of Ubisoft-themed clothing and an interesting mug design. In reality, the mug was supposed to be a simple black mug with a Ubisoft logo and nothing fancy. But as later stated by Ubisoft China in an apology tweet, due to a manufacturing error, all the mugs ended up with the handles on the inside. As hilarious as it is to believe that this is indeed a manufacturing error, some users think that this in reality was done on purpose as a piece of viral marketing. And to be honest, the ends of the mug's handles that are protruding from the sides do indeed look safely rounded and well colored for a manufacturing error. But regardless of whether or not it is true, the online response to the whole situation made Ubisoft even consider still selling them or simply giving them away as presents. And this is it for this week. Thank you everybody for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more content like this one. This was Alex, and I'll see you next time.